Welcome to Morning Dew, every Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Central Standard Time, right here on Victory and Praise Network podcast, where our host is Prophetess Shareta Berry. Today's guest on Morning Dew is Tyrone Tates. Today he will be sharing his near-death experience when he was a young child on how hell looks and more. Stay tuned. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Prophetess Shareta Berry, and I just want to spend this time and just give everyone a glimpse into a testimony that my second oldest son had. He had a glimpse of what hell looked like, and it led to him. This was in middle school, Tyrone?
Well, elementary, middle school.
Yeah, elementary, middle school, and how it led to him getting his life together in school and stop acting up and stuff like that. So I want to let him share his testimony, because I can't share it better than he can. So Tyrone, I've shared it with the people.
Well, basically the story goes, I was sitting close to the back inside of a church in summer camp, and the guy that sat next to me was one of the ushers. And he's letting me read out of his Bible. And as we're reading the passages that Pastor gave to us, he starts drawing in his Bible. And I'm like, because I'm still young, like, oh, he's gonna get in trouble because he's over here writing and drawing in his Bible. And what he drew after he showed it to me shook me. Because as I'm looking, it's not just like a picture. He's drawing what I would look like in hell. And it's me swimming in a lake of fire with people screaming all around me. It was one of the most terrifying experiences in my life, because for a brief second when I looked up, he didn't look like a regular person anymore. He looked like something else. Something much darker and horrifying. And then everything went black and everything returned to normal. I didn't understand what was going on at the time, but I knew that was a sign. Because within a few weeks later, I'm laying in bed watching TV with my brother, and I just went completely numb. And I thought at the time that it was just regular sleep paralysis. But it felt different because halfway through it, I started losing the ability to breathe. And then after that, I lost the ability to see. And then I couldn't hear anything, and then everything went pitch black. It felt as if something was pressing down on my chest. And when I was finally able to open my eyes, it's the same dark figure that the man turned into. But this time he had a sinister grin, and he was looking down at me and kept saying that, "You will be mine. You will be mine." And he just kept saying it over and over. And then I blacked out again. And this time when I came to, he was gone, but it was still darkness. And I thought that I was seeing things when it felt as if like it was like fire in the back. That's not it, man. It was felt like if somebody had set the back of my skull on fire. And that's out of nowhere. All of these images start flying through my head. So I'm like things that I've done, things that I did before, things that I will do. It all just started flashing all at once. it showed me two futures. One in which I gained control over my anger, and another in which I lost all control and had given completely into that, the rage and the anger and the hatred that I was feeling towards everyone. And when the images finally started slowing down, I could see them more clearly. And it brought into view that if I hadn't changed and gained better control over my anger, I would either end up in two places, jail or in hell. And after that, after I chose which path I wanted, I was able to wake up. It gave me a test. Proves that I'm able to control my anger or let it consume me and become exactly what it wanted me to be. I chose to control it. If I hadn't, I don't know what would have happened. I'm almost 100% certain that probably would have been the night that my mother would have lost her kids. Because what would have woken up wouldn't have been me. That's the end of it.
So you say you were showing glimpses and pictures of you with things that you've done as a kid, and did you say things that you will do?
Yeah, it showed me
later on in life.
It showed me things. Ma, I'm getting your food, baby. Yeah, I'm doing a boss. I don't know where she get it from. But yeah, it showed me everything that I had done up until that moment. It showed me things that I was doing, which was just laying there on the bed, and then it showed me everything that would transpire if I had to change my actions. If I hadn't gained control over the rage and anger.
Like the consequences of it and the actions that follow. Give me a second, you all. Just give him a second, you all. His wife must have called in on the other end, so she's on her way home. But that's my second oldest son. His name is Tyrone. He lives in Baltimore, Maryland. He has two children, adorable children, little India and Caden. India is going to the kindergarten this year. Caden preschool, and his wife Kayla. And my son, he works at the Four Seasons Hotel at downtown Baltimore in the Inner Harbor. For those of you all that are familiar with the Inner Harbor at Baltimore, Maryland, one of the biggest tourist attractions of all time. And I just wanted him to share with you all his experience and what he saw in hell as a child between elementary and middle school. But we're going to end it at that, and we're going to have him come back and share some more experiences with us at a later date in another time. If you have a comment or question that you would like to ask them, you can email sharetaberryministries at outlook.com, sharetaberryministries at outlook.com. Be blessed. So here we go with part 2 of my son's testimony. His name is Tyrone Tates, and as I said before, he lives in Baltimore, Maryland. He has 2 wonderful, adorable children, Caden in India, and his wife, lovely Kayla. And he works at the Four Seasons Hotel, one of the top hotels in America, I want to say, and he's an awesome man of God. You know, he's an awesome son. He's an awesome brother. He's an awesome friend. He's an awesome. Everything about him is awesome and awesome and awesome. And he's, you know, I love him very, 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 very much. Of course, he knows that. So I'm going to let him finish telling his story.
What was the last thing you said?
Telling us about how you made a choice.
But the choice was a test within itself, because if I had chosen wrong, it wouldn't be me that's up here. And I don't know what would have been. I believe that if I had chosen wrong, whatever it was, would have taken control of like my very soul and the essence of who I am, and would have wreaked havoc in ways that I didn't even think most people wouldn't even think are possible. But I was thankful that I chose right, and I chose to take control of the anger instead of continuing to let it control me.
Well, you know, Tyrone, there's a lot of young people, like that's in elementary and in middle school and in high school, you know, they have a lot of anger issues, and some of them don't know how to control it, and that's how come they get in trouble in school. You know, they get them suspended. And can you tell us how, you know, your anger and your rage and, you know, different things you're doing, you know, led you, cause you know, in trouble a lot?
Give me 1 moment.
I'm going to tell you something back. I remember when he used to get in trouble in school and how, you know, he got suspended or they felt expelled, and how he had to go to a different kind of school for kids that used to get expelled, and how he used to get so much trouble. And they used to call me every day, Miss Berry, can you please come get your son? Miss Berry, can you please come get your son? And the school that, you know, that's the kids that was restraining children down, and I walked in the school one day and I started holding him down, and I was like, get off of him. I said, he's not doing anything. And so it took like 2 people, 3 people to hold him down, because my son had so much anger in him. He had so much rage in him. And I really can't say, because I'm not him, I let him tell you where the anger and rage come from, but I really can't say as a mother, you know, I can't say some children rage and anger comes from the things that they've been through in life and stuff that their parents, you know, experience, and they just harbor in their anger. So I'm glad I'm tell you.
My anger was stemming from an inferiority complex. Like, a part of me knew that I wasn't better than everyone, but it knew that it was better than most people. And the part that bothered me the most was that my self-esteem didn't match the confidence that I truly had. So, like, when I'm in school and the other kids are playing with each other, but they didn't want to play with me because I looked different than them, I would start feeling the anger and the rage just start building up, and instead of just letting it out right then and there, or look for a way to let it out, I'd let it build and build and build to the point that the wall that I had set up could no longer hold it, and it just came out as if someone had opened the floodgates, and all I could see was red. It's basically, I don't know if anyone's seen the movie, it's basically how what happens to Bruce Banner before he turns into the Hulk. It's like all of that rage and anger just comes from to the surface, and it engulfs you and it swallows you whole. And there's nothing you can do but to just give in. And I gave in for so long that it just felt normal. I just didn't realize that all of that rage and anger that I was letting out was letting something else in. If it wasn't for the angel that sat on my shoulder the entire time through all of it, I would have continued to give into all of it. The anger, the rage, how strong it felt when I was giving into the anger and rage. But it wasn't being strong at all. It was just me in a different form of weakness, of letting what I thought was my own. I let what I thought was coming from me gain more control than it actually deserved. I wasn't because you can have anger and be productive with it, or you can have anger just to have anger, like just have nothing. Just let the anger just sit there.
So remember, I recall one time you had told me when you were in school about the angel and the devil or spirit on one side, the angel on one side and the devil on the other side. What they tell you?
The devil would tell me to give in to the rage, give in to the anger, give in to the power that you will feel from it. No, you're not going to forget. And the angel would tell me the opposite. He would tell me, don't give in to the rage. Don't feed into the anger. Don't listen to him. Mm-hmm. It's only going to make things worse. To the point that at some time, the angel almost gave up. And started walking away. Mm. And then it realized what was actually happening. Mm. In all honesty, I think that if it had fully walked away, I most likely would have ended up possessed.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Possessed by a spirit of nothing but pure hatred and anger and rage.
Mm-hmm. So actually they were trying to possess you.
Yeah, that's what the thing that I thought was the conscious of the negative conscious was. I thought that he was just there to like be the id, the part of everyone that wants to just do whatever random impulsive thing that pops in our head, and it was actually just a demon in disguise.
So after all of that happened, and looking at your life now as a father, a friend, mentor to to others, a best friend to many, and a brother, a son, and looking at your life now, what was the biggest change? I know a lot of men would say, because I had kids, like way before you had children. What was the biggest change that say, you know what, I got to get my life together. I can't live like this. If I live like this, I already know where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to either jail, I'm going to die, and I'm going to go to hell. That's just like, we can compare it to the 4 leper men in the Bible. And they knew where they were going. They knew where they were going to end up in. They were in jail, or in prison, or they were going to die to famine. So they chose not to sit at the enter of the gate, but to get up and go in. So what was the key thing one of the key things that led to you saying, okay, I'm in middle school, about to go to high school, and I got to get myself together. I want a future. So what was the key thing that led you to finally saying, you know what, enough is enough?
I think it was right after what I thought was sleep paralysis. It was like something after me just clicked, and it's like, why? Because I used to base everything that I went through off of what other people would say about me. Somebody makes fun of me. Someone takes something from me. All of it would just sit at the surface and just boil. And then after the vision / paralysis, it's like something clicked and it said, why keep concerning yourself with how other people feel about you? People are going to say things. They're going to make comments. They're going to make fun of you. You can look like a perfect 10, and somebody will still find a flaw with that. Don't give in to the way society thinks of what perfect and how someone should look and how someone should act. That dictate how you run your life. The more you feed into society and the way things have gone, the less more of you there will actually be.
I never thought about that before. Right. So now that you've grown, you got kids, a family man, and how does it play in the part where, with your children? Now you're raising children, and you got to look out for their future and understanding, they're gonna make choices in their life that you don't like, and they're in school, and what is it now for you now?
Now it's where I look at my son and my daughter, and I see myself. They inherited my anger issue. I can see that wholeheartedly that they have inherited my anger issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that then it'll be a lot worse than it was back then. Because back then, kids weren't as mean as they are now. The practical jokes have gotten worse. Most of the jokes nowadays send kids to the hospital or lead kids to suicide. And I would hate for my kids to go through either one. Which is why I've already started at a young age instilling in them that no one is perfect. Like, not even God himself is perfect, because even he will admit that he has made some mistakes, not within giving us free will or giving us life, but even he will admit that some of the things he did wasn't necessarily on purpose, because no one, is what I always say, no one can truly plan out an entire day without it taking a few missteps. And I always remember this, that someone told me, the best way to make God laugh is to make plans and thinking you're going to stick to them. It makes a lot of people mad that I say that, and that I go through every day basically nonchalant or level-headed, even though half of the time my day is hectic. I'm dealing with work, dealing with home life, worrying about whether or not I'm doing enough for my kids. And I just have to sometimes just take a step back and realize that I'm going to screw up. I'm not the perfect man. There's going to be things that I do that aren't right, that most parents wouldn't do. I'm going to spoil my kids. I know I am. Mm-hmm. I've been doing stuff. If I'm able to do for them, I will. If I'm not, then I'm just not.
Mm-hmm. And I have one last question for you, Tyrone. How did it feel, having a mother that was into God and praying and things? How did that affect your life?
I'm gonna be 100% honest. in the beginning of it, I was happy that my mother, she basically instilled in us the will of God and how things work within the Bible, and she also allowed us to make our own conclusions towards everything that she given us. She wouldn't just force everything down our throats. She handed it to us and left it up to us whether we want to accept it or not. She wouldn't force it on to us. And I love that about it.
Amen. So, Tyrone, you have
kids with sisters. But if later on in life, if they decide they want to go to a different religion, I'm going to let them go, but I'm going to let them know that the door is always open.
That's true. So, Tyrone, do you have anything to say to the young adults that may be going through dealing with anger issues and rage issues?
One thing I would say for sure is if you have somebody that's willing to talk to you about what you're going through, talk to them. Don't try to hide it. Don't try to hold it in. Don't try to bury it. If you're going through something, don't go through it alone. We may come into the world alone, but we don't necessarily have to go through it alone. Let people in. The more people you let in, the more help you will have. You don't have to go through anything you're going through alone. Whether you want to or not, you got people out here that will genuinely want to help you out of the kindness of their heart. Prime example, my best friend. He sees how much I'm going through, and he always gives me advice. He tells me I'm doing a great job in the Father, even when I feel like I'm failing. You need people that's going to instill positivity and not negativity. Anyone that wants to be toxic, kick them to the curb because they're not worth the time. Because if they always feel spewing towards you is toxic thoughts and telling you how this, and that is not going to work, then that's not for you. You need someone that's going to motivate you, push you to be better than you already are. They're not pushing you to be better. There's no point in having them.
So do you have anything for parents that may be experiencing children that been, going through expulsion in school, going through anger issues, upset issues and things like that? What do you have for the parents?
I say for the parents, listen to your kids. Even if they say something that sounds completely ridiculous, listen to them. Because 9 times out of 10, and the majority outweighs the most, what they're saying isn't nonsense. It's their way of explaining something. A short story, a girl was in the store with her mother, and the girl kept telling her mother that some lady, one of the mannequins, was talking to her and telling her that she liked to take her. The mother didn't listen, and when the little girl went to the bathroom, she disappeared. No one knew what happened to her, but what the mother was left with was that her daughter, the last thing she heard her daughter say is that a mannequin, a regular store mannequin, was talking to her. And I say, when your kid comes to you and say something that horrifying, you pay attention to it. Even if that means you're running through a store, knocking over mannequins. Most likely, you'll find the one that's not a real mannequin. Pay attention to what your kids say. Don't push them aside. Don't tell them, "Oh, you're just a kid. Your imagination just runs wild." Nah, because you may say that at the wrong time, and God forbid, but that'll be the time that your kid is telling you the truth, and now you out here looking for your kid, heartbroken because you didn't listen to them. So just listen to your kids. Listen, ask them how their day went. Ask them what they want, what they need. But my key point is just listen to them. Talk to them. Explain to them that you're here regardless of anything that they're going through. They can always turn to you no matter what. Because most people nowadays, they don't have that. Most people don't. Most children don't have that, and all of them want it. They want someone that's going to listen to them.
Tyrone, I know I caught you off guard today with this one, didn't I?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Well, I caught my son off guard today, y'all. He was off today, and I said, you know what? Let me get him to see what he do that. I first, y'all, I thought he wasn't going to do it. I said, he probably said, no, he's too tired. And I said, I'm going to just give it a shot. Well, I thank you, Tyrone, for just sharing with, the young people and the parents at the same time. And you all, this recording will be on my Facebook page and my YouTube page for those to go back and listen to. So once again, Tyrone, I thank you, and I'll talk with you shortly. Thank you for tuning in to Morning Dew. We pray that Morning Dew has blessed you and your family. Remember, Morning Dew is on every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time with our host, Prophet Shareta Berry, on Victory and Praise Network Podcast. You can find it on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all your podcast platforms. If you have a prayer request, you email sharetaberryministries@outlook.com. sharetaberryministries@outlook.com.